Hello and welcome to part 2 of my How to Crochet series, starting off the Slipknot and the Magic Ring. The Slipknot and the Magic Ring are essentially the foundation which starts our work, which is why it is so important to learn. As with all the techniques and stitches I'm going to show you in the next few parts, I advise you to practice over and over, just to get comfortable with the hook and the yarn, and then the stitches will follow naturally. So let's start with the Slipknot. I will show you 2 techniques, the first being the one that I use, and the second is arguably much easier. With your left hand, and starting with the tail end of the yarn, drape it over your index finger. You then want to angle it slightly towards the fingertip, and then bring the yarn from the other side up and over, creating a V. We then want to take the back yarn and bring it up and over the second yarn and all the way over your finger. Take your hook and place it in the finger space, pull the yarn, and you have a slipknot. So we'll do that again. So with the tail end of the yarn, we'll drape it over your index finger, then angle it slightly towards the fingertip, pull the yarn up to create a V, and then pinch and pull over the yarn and the fingertip. In the gap, put your hook through and pull the yarn to tighten. Now for our next type of slip knot, we're just going to make a loop. We'll insert our hook, we'll get the yarn and pull through, and there is your slip knot. Like I said, very easy. We'll do that again. Create a loop, insert our hook, get the yarn, pull through, and simple as that. I'm not quite sure why I don't use that myself, but if you're struggling with the first type, then this is your go-to. As I mentioned before in part 1, I told you how important it is to find your own way of holding and controlling the yarn. Without the left hand creating enough tension, the right hand and the hook will struggle to get hold of the yarn. So you need to make sure there is both a reasonable amount of tension to enable your hook to get the yarn, whilst also allowing there to be enough free movement of the yarn to feed into your work. I'll go into more depth about creating chains in part 3, but as you can see, I am pulling through the yarn and the yarn is just moving through my fingers with very little resistance. I've heard that a lot of people struggle with the magic ring, but it is an essential in crocheting, so if you can conquer this, you can conquer it all. And I hope this tutorial will be easy to follow, but please give yourself time to practice, it won't happen straight away. With our left hand, we will hold the yarn in place with our thumb and the side of our index finger. Then we'll pull our yarn diagonally to the right, up and across our index and middle finger. We will then go down straight under our 2 fingers and then back up diagonally to the left, creating an X across the 2 fingers. With the hook facing down, we will now go under the top right diagonal piece of yarn. We will then hook the yarn from the top left diagonal and pull it through to the other side. We will then twist the hook towards you and then reach back and hook the remaining top left yarn and pull through the loop on the hook. We can now take our fingers out and you will have created a magic ring. It is a little daunting, so let's try that again. So we're going diagonally up to the right, back down behind the 2 fingers, and then diagonally up to the left to create that X shape. With our hook, we're now going to go under the first top right diagonal, and then we're going to hook the top left diagonal, and then pull it back through and under. We're now going to twist our hook so it's facing towards us. Then we're going to reach back and get that remaining left diagonal. And then we're going to bring it back through the space on the hook, creating a new loop. Okay, we're going to take our fingers back out and there is your magic ring. I'd advise to keep practicing this over and over until you get it. Same with the slip knot. Just keep practicing until you get it. Once you have mastered the art of the magic ring, you will then put single crochets or half double crochets or whatever stitch you'd like to. We'll go into further depth on stitches in part 3. When you pull the end of the yarn, the circle closes and gets tighter and smaller, and then your work starts from there. The best piece of advice I can give is give yourself time. Don't expect to be crocheting dolls and blankets after a week. Pause, replay, learn at your leisure, and do it when you're in the right mood. It can be incredibly frustrating when you don't pick up something straight away, but it took me days to master and be comfortable with magic rings and slip knots and stitches. Learning anything new takes patience, so take a breath and just play around with the hook and the yarn, familiarise yourself with them, and then the rest will follow, given time. Crocheting is a hobby, not a chore, so enjoy it. I hope you like part 2 of my How to Crochet series and that it has encouraged you to watch the parts to follow. Please share with friends and family or anyone who may wish to learn a new hobby, and subscribe to be notified when the next part is released or I drop another pattern. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here soon.